All right, so Chainsaw Man this week, pretty crazy. I have a lot I want to talk about, but first, obviously, spoiler warning: if you're not caught up in Chainsaw Man, do not watch this video because I don't watch it because you will be spoiled. If you are, you know the drill. You can stay tuned and watch. With that out of the way, that was your one and only spoiler warning. So, heed it if you must or don't. I don't care. All right. With that being said, okay. So I want you guys to know this chapter, for context, when Chainsaw Man is, for context, this chapter came out April 1st, and normally April 1st is normally April Fool's Day. You know, the day where people do jokes and tee-hees and ha-has. But Fujimoto said, you know what, guys? April 1st this year, I'm going to drop a bombshell of a chapter. And that is exactly what he did. So in this chapter, we're still at the Death Devil's POV, you know, of her getting cooked by Chainsaw Man. She's still headless, and she is over here begging for forgiveness, being like, dude, like, bro, I have money in my skirt, just let me go, man, and everything will be fine. The fake Chainsaw Man said, dude, money is worthless, man. Like, bro, dude, like, money is the root of all evil. Which, I mean, he's kind of spitting, but anyways. So he does that. I don't care about government conspiracies. Sorry. The Death Devil said that she's gonna save mankind. Fake Chainsaw Man says through death, and fake Chainsaw Man. That's cooking with this one. So fake Chainsaw Man says, and I quote: "Your so-called salvation means the slaughtering of all mankind. It means eliminating human suffering and anger through death, right? The Justice Devil and I see right through you. Since you're a devil, you probably don't know why people chose to live in this hellish world. I'll tell you why. It's because the world is full of hope. The Chainsaw Man came from hell to protect mankind's hope, to drag beings like you back to hell. Now, fake Chainsaw Man, Justice Devil, whoever this is, a banger quote. Okay, banger quote. I'm not gonna lie. Bro was kind of cooking with that one. So that happens. But right, fake Chainsaw Man continues and says, but righteous thoughts mean nothing to you, do they, Death Devil? And the Death Devil looks shook. She looks so scared. She's like, bros, she started crying. She's like crying and stuff. And fake Chainsaw Man cuts her up a little bit more. Oh wait, no, sorry. She regenerates her body by absorbing the life from ants, which is a pretty interesting callback because if you remember a few chapters ago to when the Death Devil was introduced, the students told her to go kill the ants outside, and it's just interesting for that to be sort of a callback to this chapter about, like, you know, how she absorbed the ants' lives to get hers back. So it's very interesting. And then the Death Devil monologues by saying, quote, I am she who absorbs life, she who saves people from their suffering via death. I am one of the four horsemen ruled by humans and devils alike. Pleased to make your acquaintance. My name is Feminine Devil. Please call me Fammy. So, if you don't know what that means, okay. So, you guys remember Fammy, you know, the goofy goober who runs really funny, who we've known since the beginning, well, not the beginning, but like throughout part 2. We didn't know much about her. You know, we thought she was the feminine devil or whatever, whatever devil, famine devil. We thought, you know, that was that. No, that's not the case, because the Death Devil is saying she's that devil instead of the Death Devil, and that's already crazy for her to do that. But things get even more interesting to where, like, the fake Chainsaw Man is like, Fammy, bro, what are you talking about? And the Death Devil was like, yeah, I know all of your moves for real this time, bro. You are not Ryuji. And the fake Chainsaw Man is like, time out, hold on. So you aren't the Death Devil? And the Death Devil says, the Death Devil? No, bro. The Death Devil is mine. And then we see Fammy summon the falling devil on the Death Devil. And first of all, the falling devil's back in. Aha! Dom, what's up, falling devil? Anyways, uh, if you know, you know. So that happens. So Fami's here, and the Death Devil is cutting people up. Um, and yeah, the Death Devil. Wait, no, sorry, that's Chainsaw Man asking Fami if she's the Death Devil, and Fami's like, "Yeah, I used your name, bro." So this whole time, Fami is not the Feline Devil; she's the Death Devil, and yeah, I and the Death Devil says, "Big sis, if you feel anything for humankind, then please die right away." The Fami unbuttons her skirt to show that she has disposed all of her organs, but she still could not die, and that's how the chapter ends. Now, this is a very this is a crazy chapter for part 2 because obviously part 1 had its crazy moment where it was being revealed that Makima was the control devil, but we're not here to get into that. It's just so crazy because a lot of people, I'm gonna bet there were some people who probably saw this coming, but I definitely did not see this coming at all. Like if someone would have told me 2 weeks ago, like when we got introduced to Death Devil champion, like, oh, by the way, dude, yeah, the Death Devil that's right here is not the Death Devil. Fami's the Death Devil. I'd have been like, dude, no, bro, you're wrong. That's not gonna happen. Here we are. Here we are today, and it's just crazy to just think about that because I don't, like I said, no one could have sold. Well, okay, let me not say no one, but a lot of people did not see this coming. You know it's crazy when Chainsaw Man trends because Chainsaw Man doesn't trend that often, but when it does, you know it's a crazy chapter. And once again, I avoided all socials before I read the chapter because I would have been mad if I went on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, or whatever, and I saw like the first thing on my feed, oh my god, dude, Fami's the Death Devil. I'd be like, oh my god, bruh. I would have been very upset. So I immediately read that, and I'm just still blown away. But okay, I'm blown away. But let me also just say, this could be another fake out. We don't know. Okay, we don't know. So this could be another fake out, but I'm gonna assume that it's not. So I'm gonna be like 50-50 on this. If it's not, and this is like how we get revealed, if this is how it's revealed that like Fami's the Death Devil, that's pretty good. You know, this reminds me of, I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for this, but spoiler alert for Attack on Titan. This reminds me of when basically Eren flipped the script on everybody to where like the whole time he knew what was gonna happen because he had the memories of Grisha, and like he knew that basically he forced Grisha to kill the Reese family or whatever their names were, so that way Grisha could have the founding Titan and all that other good stuff. It reminds me of that because when that chapter came out, it was just so crazy because there were like little crumbs of it being something like that. Not when the chapter came out, but when you went back to reread it, you know, it was like, oh, I know where this is going. So this kind of reminds me of that a little bit, but yeah, it's just crazy to think about. So I wonder now what's gonna happen next week, because first of all, I'm shocked that we're not going on break, because I'm just shocked because this is a crazy chapter to end on, and I'm glad we're not going on a break. But I was expecting for us to have to wait 2 weeks before we figure out what happens. Not complaining, of course, but yeah. Fujimoto, you crazy son of a bitch. You have definitely, like, you thought you knew where the story was going, but now we don't, because Fami is the Death Devil, allegedly. So I guess now the question is, what is the Death Devil's name? Because it's, because I don't think her name's Fami. I think Fami is the Death Devil. So what is the other devil's name? Or does she not have a name? Is like this devil gonna like work together with like Genji and stuff to beat Fami? Like there are so many speculations that can happen from this, and I cannot wait to start reading the theories about this, even though I'm gonna lower my expectations on if they come true or not, because I've learned in the past that reading theories and believing that it's true are definitely bad ways to enjoy a show. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. What were your thoughts on this insane chapter of Chainsaw Man? Did you expect that Fami was gonna be the Death Devil? What do you think the fake Death Devil's name is gonna be? Do you think that the fake Death Devil's dying next chapter? Um, yeah, I'm just shocked, and that's gonna do it for this one. Fujimoto, you crazy author! I cannot wait to see what you do next week with this, because I imagine it's gonna be even more crazy.